We're going to talk about several things, but first one is the PEDs, the doping. It's unacceptable, and like Robert Garcia, and I think the most of the community is saying, what the WBC has done is endorse a fighter who was caught dirty being rewarded by still getting a fight in his hometown, and that's just unacceptable. He said that Margaret Goodman and Avada looks bad as well because they don't have any teeth. The commissions and the sanctioning bodies are supposed to enforce whatever the boxing bodies. The same thing that happened with USADA and Eric Morales. USADA reported their findings, and it wasn't up to USADA to execute this. This was up to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission allowed Eric Morales to go forward. All the samples were not there. I think it was A sample turned out dirty, and the B sample came after. But the point is, they allowed Eric Morales to fight. And I'm seeing this happen with a lot of Mexican fighters, particularly. The other thing that I find very disturbing is that, and this is why Canelo's camp and Eddie Reynoso, they're going to be looked at adversely by the boxing community. This has happened before. This has happened with Canelo. He got penalized. This has happened with two other boxers from the Reynoso gym who are in the Reynoso gym right now. And one of them was penalized. I think he had some sort of steroid in his system, and the other guy had a weight loss stuff. So, and then the way how the WBC has been acting with the lady who cheated against Cruz using a sort of steroid again shows us that the WBC is not interested in enforcing what VADA is doing. So what are you having a clean boxing program for? And here's the thing. It's only the top guys at the championship level who are being tested for these things because these are the people that can afford it. And it's really crazy because here's the thing. You enroll in the Nevada clean boxing program. You get tested. You're found dirty. Immediately you should be suspended. You should be suspended, and that fight should be off. That's what should have happened with Oscar Valdez. There should be a zero tolerance policy for that. You can consult VADA for what you put into your body. If you are you're questioning what is going into your body, you will always consult VADA because VADA is the presiding boxing body. Right? And these fighters and these athletes, they know what they're putting in their system. I don't believe that Oscar Valdez didn't know what he was putting in his system. He knew what he was putting in his system. And he knew it very well because he was able to say that the substance that he put in his system is a prescription drug. He knows that. Okay? So he's very much aware, and he's very dirty, and he's very much aware of what he did in his system. And what the WBC has done is once again, side with the athlete instead of dealing with the facts. And they've done this on several occasions. And it's always Mexican fighters. Okay? And if they think that they're going to put country before principle, they got another thing coming. Because the whole entire boxing community needs to come down on them and never let this go. And that's why I support what Caleb Plant is saying about Canelo. I support it. Because I'm not, whether Canelo is clean or dirty is irrelevant. He's highlighting the fact that there's inconsistencies in the WBC's handling of things. And also that what we are all seeing, that they're not being fair, they're not being equal with how they treat their different athletes. And don't tell me one guy, he got caught with testosterone, and the other guy, he got caught with a weight loss. Now, I don't want to hear that. That's a masking agent. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If he doesn't have a TUE for it, if he doesn't have a therapeutic use exemption, which means he told the boxing body is aware of it, they give him a TUE, I don't want to hear it. Why are you not consulting with VADA? Why are you not consulting with USADA or whatever a boxing body it is? So if you get found with adverse findings of stuff in your system that's not supposed to be there and stuff that you can't get but with a prescription, get out of here. Get out. So how you access it? Because that stuff is not found in everyday stuff. You have to get a prescription to get that. He knew what he was putting in the system. He is guilty as hell. And the same thing with Canelo. That's what I'm beginning to believe. They're dirty fighters. Okay? Wanting to hold up a clean reputation. Okay? Clenbuterol, yeah, it can be found in trace amounts in meats. But what I want to know is, you say you eat tainted meat. Okay, maybe Canelo separate. Maybe it's a different story with Canelo, but I don't know about that. I see him popping pills after a weight loss thing. And yes, the pills could be vitamins and some other supplement. It could be that. All right, it could just be that. It could be. All right, so I may be reading into too much. But my point is, Oscar Valdez definitely dirty. All right, definitely dirty. Now we're watching that. Where did you get this prescription drug from? This is a prescription drug. You're not going to just get that off the street. Okay? Then let's put it all together. The referee cheated. He deducted a point from his opponent for nothing. And then we had a WBC judge. A guy whose allegiance to the WBC, and this dude writes out a scorecard. There's no way in hell those three, and then they make a statue to the kid. There's no way in hell. All four things happen by coincidence. I'm not buying it. So, Caleb Plant has a good case, and we've seen it with Franchise Cruz, where the girl who beat her actually was doping. Mexican fighter again. And the WBC was trying to defend her to the hilt until it was found out that she really was doping. Then they had to relinquish her title. So what are we dealing with when we deal with the WBC? What are we dealing with? We've seen a lot of favoritism with the WBC and Canelo Alvarez. Suddenly Canelo has access to the WBC title at super middleweight. Suddenly Canelo Alvarez is a franchise champion. What's going on? That is corruption. It's corruption. I'm going to call it as it is. I'm not bullshitting around. Again, I don't hate Canelo. I like Canelo. I like how he boxes. I like his IQ and everything. But this sort of information around him is corrupted. And he also gives a case now for corrupted judges with these wide scorecards that we get. Yeah, the right guy wins, but the scorecards are way wide. And you ask yourself, there's no way. There's no way in hell a judge is going to score that. I don't care what position on the ring you are on. You're not going to score the entire fight for one fighter. You're not going to have your card so wide. I don't buy that. So people are being paid off, not in the typical way, oh, they'll do this. But they have allegiances, and their allegiances, the people pull with their connections, so their allegiances will, you know what you got to do. That's the corruption in boxing. Boxing is a corrupt sport. We knew this already. But that's the corruption in boxing. Okay? But we must not tolerate PEDs in boxing, and we must not tolerate corruption in boxing. We're the ones they sell the fights to. We're the ones that buy their fights. The fans have more power. I'm going to talk about the same argument elsewhere. All right, in the movie industry, we have power as well. We as fans were able to get the movie that we wanted. A lot of people like to say, oh, well, you know, it's all about the general audience. It's all about the general audience. You know what's happening right now with Warner Brothers? They're going under. They're tanking because they didn't satisfy the customers that always went to them and paid for their product. You know what's the most important fans in boxing? The paying fans. Let me say it again. The most important fans in boxing are the guys that pay to watch boxing. It's not just any old fan. It's the fans that pay. All right? Now here's the thing. We have purchasing power. And if we come together, we can shut down this shit. I did not watch the Oscar Valdez thing, and I didn't pay for it. Right? I didn't want views or anything to go to it. You know why? Because I did not agree with it. And this is where you have the power. You don't have to go to their shows. You don't have to advertise for them, and you certainly don't have to buy their pay-per-view. And if you do that, that is when changes will happen, because money talks and bullshit walks. And that's what we need to do as paying fans. If you don't like what's happening, don't watch it. Don't support something you do not agree with. And don't be so thirsty for the sport and thirsty for fights that you're so stupid you're going to go pay for it. And that's for the hardcore fans as well. I don't love boxing so much that I want to see people get hurt and killed in it. And unnecessary danger that shouldn't be there. Take a stand. Grow a spine. Do not watch and support fights where people are cheating, and you know that because they were caught. Do not support it. Take a stand. Grow a freaking spine. Okay. So, this should not be tolerated. And it's not enough for trainers and boxers to talk about it. The fans, y'all need to backlash heavy. We saw a guy get unfairly treated in a fight. Not only did the other guy come in trying to get an advantage over the guy because he felt he might lose, but then he had the ref on his side and he had a judge on his side. They did everything in their power to make sure this guy won the fight that he did not win. My point being, we gotta stop. We gotta put our foot down and say, why would I want to watch a fight where they allow the guy to cheat? That's already an unfair advantage. It's not going to be a fair fight. And we saw that they cheated all the way to the finish line. They had a judge that was cheating. They had a referee that cheated. Listen to me carefully. So it wasn't just Oscar Valdez. It was a whole fucking system in place to cheat. And the only way they're going to stop doing that is if you stop watching that shit. You stop the Pappy Show. You stop it. Now, I have said enough. You as fans have power. They will tell you, oh, you ain't got no power. You got no power. You create buzz. You're the ones that make things work or not. It's the hardcore fans, not the casuals. The casuals get a whiff of something when the hardcores are all rooting for it. You make a big difference in what happens in pay-per-view. And you need to stop being so impotent and taking everything up your ass. And you need to step up and say, I'm not taking that, like Caleb Plant said, I ain't taking that push. I ain't no punk. And get into war. Let them know we're not tolerating that shit here. That shit show that you want to bring up, that fucking franchise belt, that stupid ass behavior that you have with certain kinds of fighters, we're not tolerating that. We're not gonna buy that shit. And when you present shit to us, we're not gonna buy it. You got to take a stand. And if you do, and that goes for also the guys who report on these things. You keep on reporting on the inconsistencies and the wrongs that have been done. And then take the stand. I'm not watching that fight. Say it. Broadcast it. We need to boycott certain things. Boycott it. Take a stand. Grow some balls. Grow a spine. Take a stand. Otherwise, it's going to continue on and on. I was listening to Beeb's channel, Ringside Reporter. And one of the people on Ringside Reporter said, oh, this is going to continue and it's going to keep on continuing. No, motherfucker. It ain't going to continue if we don't let it continue. We have power. Okay? And we need to take the power in our hands. We're the ones. Why do you think all these fighters that make so much money, they say, we thank the fans. We thank the fans for supporting us. If you said it good. Because they know you're the one that determines how things go. If you put your foot down, and I'm talking about the paying fans. I'm not talking about the casuals. When a fight really gets interesting and everybody wants to go see it, it's because you generate the excitement. You're the one that's in the system all the time. You're the one following day to day everything that's going on. You're the one that's going through history looking at everything and how the sport is. Money talks, bullshit walks. I can tell you this for a fact because I was a fan of a movie and we generate so much buzz on that movie because we're talking about it and everything. People at first they want to slap us down. It's called a Snyder Cut. Should never have existed. But because of us, the fans, the paying fans, the Zack Snyder paying fans, and fans in general, we got what we wanted. It's on DVD and Blu-ray now. It's the highest selling DVD and Blu-ray in the world right now. Because of us. People are watching this shit who don't even know what the Snyder Cut is. Because of us. Because we created the buzz. We. So you have the power to do it. Stop being spineless bitches. Get off your fucking ass and take a stand. And I don't have a problem talking to fans like this. People are like, oh, we love the fans. We mustn't say things bad about the fans. I'll say, shut the fuck up and listen. I'm going to say it to your face. All you fans out there, if you are a bitch, you won't take a stand. This is fighting words right now. But if you are really somebody with a spine, you will take a stand. Because this is wrong. This is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And when it's wrong, what's wrong is wrong. We got to stand for truth. Level the playing field. Can't have a guy coming in and he already won a fight on one judge's scorecard. That's some bullshit. Y'all need to stand up for that shit. That fight should be a no contest according to Blueblood Sports TV. That's what they did with the WBA fight with Fox and the other guy. That should be a no contest. And it should be on the grounds that Oscar Valdez took something. And he was found, his A and B samples was found to be positive for the drug that he took. That's banned. If we grow up here, they inevitably will have to grow up here. Because it's going to affect their bottom line. Because everybody's going after money. Everybody's chasing after money. And obviously they have their background deals that's happening. You know, the underground deals that are happening. And you can't do those transactions if no money really flowing on the surface to cover it up. And they can pump some of that money from underground. They can pump some of the money from underground into the system to keep it flowing, but not for very long before somebody gets found out. So hear me out. We need to stand up to this nonsense. Gotta take a stand, folks. There are times when you gotta stand for something. If you want things to get better, and you don't want to be saying, oh man, look at this judge's scorecard. It comes down to us now. It's in our hands. We gotta approve certain things and disapprove certain things. We see a judge judging another fight, fuck that fight. I'm not watching it. I don't care if it's the biggest pay-per-view. What's that judge doing judging top level, top tier fights? We gotta frown as a community on this shit. That's the only way it's gonna go away. It's the only way it's gonna go away. They're gonna have to try something else. But y'all need to grow a fucking pair. And stop taking it up the ass. You don't have to watch everything they offer you. I don't care how much you love boxing. You gotta have principles inside of you. And it could be your favorite fighter you're gonna watch. And you have to say, no. I will not watch that until proper justice has happened. You've got to be more principled. I said you got to grow a spine. You can't just be going with what everything is. I'm making excuses for everything out here. I'm going to say this because I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan. If Floyd Mayweather turned up dirty on shit, anything, fuck him. Fuck him. Because at the end of the day, it's about being fair and having fairness in the game. I don't care who it is. You're not above the sport and what its principles are. You don't get away because you have power and connections. If you can't abide by the basic rules, the basic decent rules of using PEDs, don't use illegal PEDs, then fuck you, I don't care. I'm not going to support that. If you get punished and you pay, you get punished for it, that's totally different. Because in my opinion, you pay for your thing, and hopefully those PEDs not in your system anymore. People make mistakes, so it's cool. Nobody's perfect. But we need to have a zero tolerance on PED use. Period in boxing. You got to resort to a prescription motherfucking drug. You know they had to access that shit. And you got to get a doctor's prescription for that shit. Right? And at the end of the day, when you don't have your prescription drug, when you don't have the PEDs, suddenly you don't have the confidence and you get your ass beat like Billy Joe Saunders did against Canelo Alvarez. You know why? Because he didn't have his PEDs. He didn't have his cheating. Canelo whooped that ass. He ain't gonna whoop Caleb Plant's ass though. I'm telling you, man. Right? All those people out there saying, oh, Caleb Plant, man. Look, Canelo two-pieced him and blah. Yeah, you just bragging, but you ignoring what Caleb Plant did to Canelo. See, that's the thing that I don't understand. And it's a given that Canelo two-pieced Caleb Plant. But you didn't see that Caleb Plant hit Canelo with a body shot. You didn't see that Caleb Plant slapped Canelo. And he caught him. He caught him. He got him good. Canelo snapped out of the way, so he didn't get the full brunt of it. And Canelo came back with a hard right slap. And caught Caleb Plant. He didn't get him flush, get him on the neck, but he still caught him. He hit him hard. But Caleb Plant came back with a punch to the gut. Solar plexus. That's why Canelo bounced back. Alright? It's a real fight. And if you don't realize that after that clash that they had, It's a real fight. Right? And I'm glad because I want to see Canelo face somebody who would give him a fight. You know? Danny Jacobs gave him a good fight. You know? We're not going to talk about Triple G. We're not going to talk about Triple G. Okay? Triple G didn't do shit. Okay? He was a punching bag for 12 rounds. Canelo got tired punching him in the first fight. Okay? Tired punching his ass in the first fight. He's a punching bag. Do not tell me, any one of you guys come on here and tell me Triple G beat Canelo in the first fight or the second fight. I'm going to look at you like you some kind of fool or something, because that did not happen. I don't know what you were thinking with where your brain is at, but that did not happen. Triple G was a punching bag for 12 rounds. He's a tough guy, but he was punched stupid. All right? I remember in the 12th round, Canelo offloaded an 8-punch combination on Triple G's head, going backwards. So please just don't refer to it. Yeah, he could take the punches. That's cool. But he didn't do shit. He did nothing to Canelo. He never phased him. He never dropped him. He never even hurt him. When did Canelo get hurt in that fight? Not at all. Okay? So you have to look at the guy who was landing more punches, and it was Canelo. All right? More power punches. Because apparently they were counting every single touch jab that Triple G touched Canelo's forehead with. So we don't want to talk about Triple G. But Canelo had a good fight with Erislandy Lara. But, his toughest fight was Floyd Mayweather. And again, you've got to fight Canelo in the pocket. You can fight him on the outside and all of that too. But you got to fight him in the pocket. And Caleb Plant can do that. He's got the skills to do it. I saw it against Usateki. And by the way, I also watched more footage of Usateki. Usateki beat the crap out of Andre Durrell. He beat him up. He made him retire. He got heavy hands. That's why Caleb Plant also got a bloody nose from Usateki. Usateki has heavy hands. And he's a much bigger fighter than Canelo. It's bigger. Just physically bigger. As a super middleweight. And a lot of people look at how Caleb Plant beat Usateki and they don't understand. Caleb Plant got a lot of skill. That's why Usateki was never in balance. He couldn't figure out Caleb Plant's movement. What Canelo called running, which according to my Dante's Boxing Nation, Canelo ran against Triple G. If you're gonna call it running, you ran against Triple G the first fight. Right? Boxing. Nothing wrong with boxing. If Caleb Plant decides to box you, cut off the ring. Simple. Just remember, he catch and shoot. So if you're trying to throw that left hook, you like to throw left hooks, he gonna catch that left hook and he gonna shoot something up the center on you. When you come with the right hand, do understand he will roll the right hand and come back with a right. He don't have a problem shooting right hands twice, 3 times. It's hard to hit Caleb Plant clean. It's hard. By the way, this was an interesting thing I saw, and I just wanted to talk about it. So when Caleb Plant was strolling up to Canelo, all right, I'm gonna go this way. Let me see. I got in the wrong angle. The camera's in the wrong place, I think. Yeah, because I should be on this side, and the camera has to turn this way. But anyway, I'm gonna do it. Right. So my right hand's over here. You saw Caleb Plant do this and blow his right hand, and I didn't realize at the time. And that's some high-level chess, which a lot of you guys will miss because it's special effects. But he was blowing his right hand because he was about to land a right hand. He was about to punch Canelo. And he knew he was going to punch Canelo. So when he slipped to the right and let Canelo do that 1-2 thing, he knew he was going to punch him with the right hand. It wasn't just a feint. On the Boxing Voice, I forgot what the lady's name is. But she was talking about how, he feinted as if he was going to throw the right hand and he came with the left hook, which did land on Canelo. But the thing about it is, he literally was going to throw the right hand. He intended to throw the right hand, and he did. He dug to the body, and Canelo bounced off of it, and he pulled all the way back, and then Eddie Reynoso grabbed him and pulled him even further away. Whereas Caleb Plant held the center stage. He stayed at the center stage. All these things I observed. It wasn't Canelo. Remember, Canelo pushed Caleb Plant back. Listen to me carefully. Think of the body language of it. So Caleb Plant, the first thing he did so he wouldn't hit Canelo is he put his hands behind his back so he wouldn't hit Canelo, right? This is Caleb Plant here, Canelo. And Canelo got mad for no reason at all, okay, and pushed Caleb Plant back. So Caleb Plant is striding back to Canelo. He lifts his right hand, blows it, and then he throws a left hook, right? Boom, right? Throws a left hook, and he dips to the right. Why is he dipping to the right? It's not to slip a punch. It's because he wants to come up with the right hand. Whap! Right? So, and then he's in this posture after that, the extended guard. So I looked at that and I said to myself, wow, he deliberately planned to hit Canelo, punch Canelo. He actually planned to punch him. And he did. He punched his ass. And what happened is, remember Canelo pushed Caleb Plant from this. Caleb Plant ended up at the center stage. And Canelo was in the corner. You dig? Canelo ended up in the corner. And Caleb Plant was on center stage. In other words, you pushed me away because you was intimidated by me. You wanted center stage. But guess who ends up in center stage? I end up in center stage. You understand? Because Canelo feels threatened by Caleb Plant, obviously. Because Caleb Plant got no respect for him. He said, I don't have respect for cheaters. And he came out on social media and said that. And then he said it to Canelo's face. Right? And he explained why he thinks that Canelo will not hang with him. Because he don't have the confidence to hang with him. You understand? So, like I'm saying to you guys, I'm just observing stuff. And I'm watching stuff. And I'm paying attention. Because you have to think with a boxing lens. You can't think with some fucking fanboy lens. I'm no fanboy. And I'm telling you the bigger guy is Caleb Plant. I am not asking you. And I'm telling you Caleb Plant will walk down Canelo in the fight. And Canelo will work around him to counter him. So Canelo's here talking about Caleb Plant will be running and running and running. Okay. We'll see. November the 8th. We'll see. November 6th, I think it is. We'll see who's running and we'll see who's not. Okay. Like I said, Usyk is a big 168 pounder. You saw what he did to Andre Dirrell. He made him retire. Andre Dirrell was going southpaw. Usyk can go southpaw orthodox. Seek and destroy it. Alright? They thought Caleb Plant would have been eaten alive. And he beat that boy so bad. And he walked him down. He fought him on the inside. All kinds of things he did. Right? I'm telling you, man. And that's not the Caleb Plant today. That's a different Caleb Plant. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I looked at it. I looked at everything that happened in that matchup. And I know what I saw. Don't get it wrong. Canelo's a bad boy. He penetrated Caleb Plant's defense, but Caleb Plant had planned to throw that right hand and land it with a ball fist. He didn't hit him full. Of course, he didn't hit him full force. He just, just touched him. Let him know, I'm gonna touch you to the body. I'm gonna touch you to the body. That's what he's letting him know. Right? And you saw Canelo's eyes do like this, and he jumped back. Right? Caleb Plant just sending a little message to him. It's a different cat. I'm a little different. I'm a little different. When you thought you played me with that big bop bop, while you was making that big old show, bop bop, and everybody's watching that, I touched you to the body. I want you to know, I'm not other dudes. Like I said, he sent a message to him. Sneaky motherfucker. Because I remember Caleb Plant saying, there's a lot of things guys do in the ring, a lot of people don't see. Up to this day, nobody's really talking about that body punch. But Canelo knows about it because he felt it. He saw it. He was shocked. Now imagine, you going in for the kill, and a guy counter punches you like that. See, because he got countered while he was countering. And countering the counter is the way to deal with a counterpuncher. I'm going to just say that. I want you all guys to know I said these things. So what it appears to be is not what it is. It appears to be one thing, but it's not that. What you're looking at. Alright? So, we're going to see. Now, a lot of people, they're going in on Canelo. Oh, Canelo, he facing Caleb Plant. So if Caleb Plant beat Canelo, they're going to be like, oh, Canelo wasn't all that. No. Y'all underestimated Caleb Plant. Say that. Canelo is all that and a bag of chips. And he's going to show you that because he's going to thread the needle and he's going to get his shots in. He's going to get his shots in. But what y'all don't realize is who Caleb Plant is. Y'all don't know who he is. And y'all will get to see it on display come November 6th. Notice I've been talking about Caleb Plant like that all the time. And I'm adamant about it. People say, oh, Canelo gonna knock out Caleb Plant. Fuck no. He ain't knocking out shit. He ain't doing shit to Caleb Plant when it comes to that. We might see some bloody noses. Right? We might see that shit. Caleb Plant will get hit. That's not the question. Because they both slick boxers and they know how to thread the needle and they know how to counter each other. So that will happen. Sometimes he'll sell out to get certain shots. But what I'm saying is, y'all must really think that Caleb Plant is some weakling. Like he's some softy. Like he gonna run around the ring and Canelo gonna chase him down, cut off the ring, and then bang him up. Like Callum Smith got banged up. Like what's his name? Like Billy Joe Saunders got tagged up and broken eye open. So that shit ain't happening with Caleb Plant. Notice I've said this now 4, 5, 6 times. That shit ain't gonna happen. It's a different fight. Right? Canelo couldn't do that to Danny Jacobs, and he sure as fuck ain't doing that to Caleb Plant. He's not doing it to him. Too well conditioned. Too well. Caleb will have to pace himself. He'll have to keep his composure. But he got everything to beat Canelo. Doesn't mean he's going to beat him. Canelo got everything to beat Caleb Plant. Plus he got a bag of experience. Pull some tricks out the bag. Because you can't always dominate a guy physically. He going to have to work around Caleb Plant. Because Caleb Plant got defense. Y'all going to see what I'm talking about. When the fight go down. Right? Well, again, in the sport of boxing, you can't have cheaters. And whether, Canelo paid for his crime, if he did cheat, he was suspended. So fair enough. And his name was down, is down on the VADA list. They watching him hard, right? And they probably testing his ass real hard, which is good. So he's definitely clean right now, as far as we know. Right? He's a clean. I'm pretty sure he's a clean fighter, more or less, but whatever. All I'm saying is he shows up clean for their testing. So we ain't got a problem with that. Once they testing him regular, and he's always volunteered for that, right? So he's always thought of himself as a clean fighter. So maybe it was the meat. Like I said before, I'm kind of to and fro on that. His issue. But at the end of the day, here's the important thing. He's coming in clean, hopefully, right? Because VADA's testing his ass. And he's taking VADA testing. He looks good. He looks strong. He looks sharp. He is sharp, right? Caleb Plant takes VADA testing all the time with Snack, Victor Conte, So he's looking to try and be clean. He's always trying to be clean, right? So the question right now is, in a fight like that, which is an even playing field, who will come out the victor? Who's going to make history? Who's going to be the first super middleweight undisputed champion of the world? That's the question. And the only reason I'm doing so many of these videos is because I'm really pumped for the fight, right? In addition to just giving you guys extra material, right? So, like I said, I'm gonna say it again to you guys, cause I know enough boxing to know what I see. I'm gonna say it again to you guys, and you can go down your narrators and you can talk your bullshit if you want to. But I'm gonna say it because I like the truth. If y'all think Canelo's gonna knock out Caleb Plant, y'all got another thing coming. That is not happening. And if you think he's gonna dog walk Caleb Plant and beat him up, y'all got another thing coming. I don't care if Caleb Plant's hands is damaged to hell. He gonna punch the shit out of Canelo when he can. Okay? Y'all say Canelo's the body puncher, but Caleb Plant's the one that landed the body shot. Y'all say Canelo is the counter puncher, yet he gets countered, even though he's countering Caleb Plant. Y'all say Caleb Plant will run from Canelo. He gonna run and Canelo will find him and beat him up, yet Caleb Plant's the one in the center of the ring, watching the Canelo who's walked off to the side. Not the ring, the stage. Remember, he pushed Caleb Plant from the center of the stage. He's saying, you don't belong here. You don't belong in front of me. You disrespected me. But he's the one on the side of the stage. And Caleb Plant's in the center saying, what? And pulling back people from engaging. He pulled back the other guy from engaging. He was calm as ever. Right? Think about what I'm saying. So, the fact that it even came to blows, well, obviously Caleb Plant ain't going to take no push, right? So he slapped him. And Canelo slapped as hard as he could. The right hand came down. The left was like, boom. He slapped him hard. But Caleb Plant punched him. Punched him. Right? He wanted Canelo to feel him. Nothing too big. Just touch him to the body. Just touch him to the body. Just touch him to the body. But he wanted him to feel him. That's why Caleb Plant was dictating what was said. When Canelo said, shut the fuck up, Caleb Plant said, and what? And what? You say, I'm going to beat your ass. He said, and? We're going to fight anyway. We're going to fight November the 6th. Man, you shut your ass up. And Canelo kept quiet after that. Why? Because, and they bad. I love that. I love how Canelo's speaking English. Right? But Caleb Plant was in control because Caleb Plant sent a message to Canelo. You ain't just going to get freebies in on me. You ain't going to just come out here and bully me and show you the boss and stuff. Nah, homie. You ain't going to hit me and get away with it. You're not going to push me and get away with it. I'm going to touch you. You're going to feel me. This is a fight. And I came to fight. So, you guys got to understand that's the message he sent Canelo. Canelo knows this now. He know not to just step any old how. You know. And if he thinks, because he got that 1-2 in on Caleb Plant, that's going to happen on the night. No, that's not it, homie. Caleb Plant planned to punch you. He sold out to punch you. He wanted you to know he Mexican too. He don't mind going into the dirt and the grime. Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. He got caught with jabs. Still went through it. Still went to the body. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm saying all of this to let you guys know Canelo can still handle his business and still beat Caleb Plant. I'm not saying no. He can still handle his business. But it's not going to be easy. And Canelo knows this is not an easy fight. He knows that. They negotiated. And he wasn't able to just do any old thing he wanted to do in the negotiations. He wasn't able. Because Caleb Plant's team was not having it. So he knows from the get-go, from negotiations, Caleb Plant ain't playing. Right? And he knows from negotiations also that he had to come at Caleb Plant. That's why he came at him. That's why he came at Caleb Plant. He knows Caleb Plant's a threat. He knows Caleb Plant could beat him. It's possible, right? He's not. He obviously Canelo has supreme confidence in his abilities, right? But the question is, because he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff, obviously. And Canelo, you never. Let me tell you, say something, Canelo. You apologizing for hitting Caleb? Don't ever apologize. This is war, man. Don't be a nice guy. Don't be a nice guy to Caleb. Don't be a nice guy. There's no need to be a nice guy. You don't need to apologize for slapping. Oh man, I didn't intend to. Dude, you're a fighter. That's what you do. That's what you do. Now it could have been worse. So people who are planning the event, they need to think a little bit before putting them two together like that. But once Canelo don't get triggered and push Caleb or something, if no physical violence happens, see, Canelo pushed Caleb Plant. That's what started it. Caleb Plant decided he had to answer, and so he answered. Okay? And there's nobody stopping him from answering. Nobody. The lady was trying to grab his hands. He just pulled his hands out of that easy like a martial artist. Came up and slapped Canelo. Canelo returned with great force. Boom, boom. Bust that glasses off his face. Pow! Boom, boom. When came back like, wow. Right? I love it. Now, it could have been another situation, right? It could have been another situation. That fight could have been destroyed right there. Right? Caleb Plant could have gotten, glasses in his eye, and that would have been it. Thankfully, that was not the case. So, but man, that definitely, I don't care what nobody say. That hypes the fight just went like this. That's why some people are picking sides there with Canelo. Oh yeah, he beating up Caleb Plant. They trying to make Caleb Plant look like he's less of a threat. Caleb Plant's a real fucking threat, and y'all know that. All of y'all know that he's a real threat. Y'all know this. I watch his fights and I see what he's made of. He's a fucking threat. And that's great. That's what we want. We wanted somebody to test Canelo. This guy's going to test him, and test him really heavily. And we're going to see if he will make it through it or not. Right? And don't tell me he's supposed to make it through it. Don't do that to him. Alright? Don't do that to him. We're going to see skill for skill, match for match, what happens. And if Caleb Plant wins, I don't want to hear nobody talking shit about Canelo. Because y'all hate Canelo. Y'all's haters. Y'all's haters. By the way, there will be a rematch. I'm sure there's a rematch clause in there. So whoever wins, they're going to have to rematch the other guy. So the guy can get a fair shot at Undisputed. And it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a close fight. Maybe we'll get a clear winner, but it'll be close. Always close. But we may get a clear winner. So, we're going to see. I'm not picking one side or the other. I'm just highlighting certain things. I'm not picking one side or the other. I'm just highlighting certain things that people would have observed and just didn't say nothing about. Right? Or didn't see. Right? I'm just making a case that Caleb Plant is that opponent. He is a difficult opponent for Canelo. He's going to present challenges to him. And we're going to see who the best man wins. I'm not saying that Canelo won't pull through and win. He's smart, he's clever, he's crafty. And if he can't bully you and he can't push you back, he's going to do some other things. He can box. He can do a lot of stuff. And he can still catch you with shots. Obviously, you saw him catch Caleb Plant with 2 shots. So, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Canelo don't win this fight, or he can't win this fight. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's a tough-ass fight, though. And he knows that. He knows that. Alright? And a lot of y'all going to be like, y'all going to be shocked at what Caleb Plant can do. Because y'all have a certain impression of him in your mind. And he's not that. He's not what you think he is. And that's all I'm saying. And I'm so glad this fight's happening, because if Canelo wins this fight, Canelo a bad motherfucker. And not only that, but he proves once again to the haters and the doubters that he's facing young prime fighters. And this guy's very good. This is a very good fighter. Probably turn out to be an all-time great if he keeps it going. Right? Caleb Plant's bigger than Demetrius Andrade. I still like to see Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade, obviously. You know. He didn't give Andrade the fight. He gave Caleb Plant. But he thought Caleb Plant, because he's inexperienced and stuff, he going to be easier than Demetrius Andrade. I think he walked himself. I think he walked himself into... I think he jumped out of the frying pan into the fire. He tried to get away from Demetrius Andrade and he walked into Plant. Because Plant is a white dude. He's probably thinking white dude, he's new. Yeah, he ain't really all that. He's just a right hand, jab right hand. He jab around the ring and stuff. No, homie. Nope. You walked into a trap. You don't even realize it. You are going to be facing a guy like Demetrius Andrade. He's orthodox, but he follows the same principles, and he has all the things Demetrius Andrade can do. Caleb Plant can do. Billy Joe Saunders was like Demetrius Andrade in some respects, but he out of shape. Fucker don't take care of his body, and he didn't have no confidence in his skills. Right? So it is what it is. Caleb Plant different. Caleb Plant's dialed in. Worse than Demetrius Andrade, because he's dialed in even more. Demetrius Andrade is hungry. But Caleb Plant don't want to go back to the life he used to have. He don't want to go back there. So the only way he can see is forward. And he has to go through Canelo, and he's going through him. So that's how Caleb Plant is thinking right now. He dialed in on that W. So he's worse than Demetrius Andrade. So I don't know. I'm just saying. So Canelo, he should have fought. You should have fought Demetrius Andrade, and he was gonna be coming up in weight. He'd have been coming up in weight. He wouldn't have been a 168 pounder. But he wanted to fight the best. So you are fighting the best. You are fighting the best 168 pounder in the division. He's definitely facing the best. No question about it. And he's going to see the mentality and everything. The mindset, the mentality, the skill set, everything is the best 168 pounder. Caleb Plant is the best 168. Other than Canelo, who's decorated, Caleb Plant is the best 168 pounder. I told you, just like Andre Ward versus Floyd Mayweather. I don't know who would win. I'm going to be real. I don't know if Mayweather would beat Andre Ward. Andre Ward would always have the height and length on Floyd. Right? I don't know who would win. I'm going to be real with you. If Andre Ward faced Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, who never lost a fight since he was 12, and then Mayweather, who was, you talk about the great magician, we don't know who would win. This is that fight you wanted. That hypothetical fight. That's the fight. Andre Ward has a lower knockout ratio than Floyd. See? So, and Andre Ward can fight on the inside. Now, Canelo can fight on the inside. Floyd can fight on the inside. Canelo's pretty good at mid-range. He's really more mid-range than inside. Caleb Plant, he's still kind of working on how he gets to the inside of a fighter. And even if a fighter resists him clinching him, he works on his game with that. He should work on his clinches and stuff too. Make sure he gets the clinches right. But a guy can push you off. Same thing with Canelo. Try to forearm you off and stuff. So Osateki was actually a good warm-up to Canelo in some respects, because Osateki, besides fighting on the inside, he kind of pushes you off with his forearms. Kind of like Tito Trinidad, Canelo Alvarez. These are guys that can forearm you off so you don't clinch them. So in a way, Osateki is like a preparing ground. It's kind of like Tony Pep was a preparing ground for Gennaro Hernandez with Floyd. Well, Osateki is kind of like a preparing ground for a Canelo because Osateki, he goes out for orthodox, he shoot with one hand, the other hand, um, aggressive, got power. So he's much slower than Canelo. Obviously, Canelo's just blitzingly fast. Okay, so there's those things that you have to deal with, but getting used to a side where you're pressured like that, and Caleb Plant's used to that sort of. So we'll see how it all pans out in the end, because Canelo's going to try and go to his body so that he can slow down his feet, slow down the speed, and he wants to stay sharp as well at the same time. So we'll see how it goes with that. Expect Plant to go to the body religiously, because again, Plant's hands, he don't want to break his hands on Canelo's head, but when he has to hit you with a headshot, he's going to hit you with a headshot. Because again, Plant has bad hands, right? He's kind of like Floyd. He's kind of like Paulie Malignaggi. You got, Pernell Whitaker. All these guys, they break their hands. And the reason I think they break their hands, and this is a tip to Caleb Plant and all these other guys out there, because you guys work the heavy bag. You guys work the heavy bag too much. You work it too much. That's why Roy Jones Jr., he kept his hands. Well, you should probably use the speed bag, sparring, that kind of thing, instead of going to the heavy bag. The heavy bag can mash up your hands, especially if you punch a certain kind of way and with a lot of force and power. It just depending on how you angle your punch, you could break your hands, right? So, suggesting to Caleb Plant and all those guys who, these very gifted fighters who get these unique angles that when they're punching, sometimes those unique angles can break your hands. So you want to spare up on your hands, let the hands get strong, and so on. And you probably might want to use something else than a punching bag. That's how Roy Jones Jr., like I said before, kept his hands in order. Because if he was using the heavy bag, he probably would break his hands too. I think it's the heavy bag that caused guys to get their hands broken up. So think about what I'm saying. All right, people, what you need. I talked enough about this. I want to talk for an hour. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.